Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Joes of all ages, welcome to the main event of the evening. It's Talking Joe with Chief and Steve.
Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe! Joe!
Hey, it's me, Mr. Scalextric, Chieftain the dog. How are you, sir?
8 pairs rubber nipples. You want to keep it going, buddy? This is S-Jubs. I'm in the house, and there ain't no party like an S-Jubs party.
For reals, brother, for reals.
Chief, what a week, buddy. I feel like we could fill this podcast without even mentioning G.I. Joe. You feel me?
Well, if you're suggesting that we start a new spin-off podcast where me and you just shoot the shit for an hour, part of me wants to say I'm up for it. Podcast
Easily
number 6.
Done. Well, with a specific focus on little race cars darting around a steel track set into plastic grid. Honestly, Chief, I've been flabbergasted with your updates. You have opened my eyes to the world of slot car racing.
Okay, now I will just say this, that I am going to start flooding the general population's world with this, because there is a cheap plug number 1. The Outer Timers next episode comes out next week, and that has a bit of a deep dive on Scalextric.
So it's research.
When that comes out, I'll be posting a lot of the videos and pictures I've been sending you privately offline, so the world will see what I've been doing. They've been hearing us talk about it, and me and Ben talk about it on the Outer Timers, but they'll see the evidence. And as mentioned previously, once I go down a hobbyist rabbit hole, I don't seem to find an end to that hole until I've burrowed all the way through to the other side of the world. I've gone a bit mental and just
found a hole in your credit card. Ooh. Yeah. Let's not get into that. And I don't want to steal your thunder about the Scalextrics, save it for Outer Timers, but let me just say, for my own part, I had no idea how technical it could get.
Right.
The fact that now, in the sort of the age of tablets and digital information, the fact that you can record your lap times, your fuel consumption, your tires, like, what? It is so much more than just watching little cars go shh.
Yeah, that's right. So finally, this won't spoil the Outer Timers one, but finally, I had some track problems in that my track is large. It's about 24 metres, and cars were going round, and around halfway round the track, they were losing power.
Juice.
So still making it round, but not making it back to the finish, or making it back to the finish, but you'd have to increase the throttle. Now, doing research online, and people were saying with a track that size, you need to distribute power around it more consistently. Get yourself some power taps, which are effectively just wires, which you'll attach to a piece of track next to the power base, run it under the track to, say, halfway round the track, and attach those little couplings to another piece of track to hopefully distribute power.
Will it be like hitting one of those super boosts in Wipeout? And kind of just suddenly you got this jolt of energy, your car lurches forward?
I hope not. So anyway, I ordered those, £9, and still they haven't arrived. And then people were saying, do actual track maintenance. So make sure your rails are clean, make sure your connectors are pushed down. And I decided to take apart every single piece of track, 83 pieces of track, check out the connectors on each one, and then effectively connect 4 or 5 pieces of track at a time. That's it, to the power base. Run a car, does it run? Perfect, yes.
In addition to everything else you have on your plate, and being a husband and a dad, Chief, you're out of control, man. I don't know how you do this and still get into bed at 9:30 p.m.
Well, no, that started going later. I've started going to 11 now. But anyway, to close out this bit, attach another 5 pieces, and I got to about halfway round, and the car then started slowing down. And so I had isolated this half piece of track, which was actually an old power base piece where you plug in your power pack, goes into that piece of track. And I had run out of half pieces, so I was just using this as a substitute half. And it runs along that fine. But when I removed that and just put a corner piece straight on in place of it, the car ran fine. And then kept building the track and went fine. Removing that single piece of track and shortening the track by just a half, although I had to take another half out around the end of the bend to make it match up. then the car made it all the way round without any power drop at all. So I don't actually need these power taps which are coming, because taking out that one funky piece of track has made the track perfect. And what that meant is, like you said, I can now hook up the app. There's a Scalextric Arc app, which is app race control, but apparently it's not that good. There's a third-party one called Magic Arc app, which I downloaded. And this, like you say, you calibrate the car, so you put the car on the track. The car auto runs round the track, controlled by the app, which controls power going to the track.
Oh, incredible.
You set it to the lowest power, so the car can make it round in one piece at its slowest speed. So you've got a little slide bar, and you're sliding this to maybe 20% power or 25%, and once the car can get round the whole lap at that speed, that is, you lock in the calibration. And the reason you need to do that is because when you do a race, if you set it up to have crashes or oil spills or yellow flags, when the yellow flag comes out to simulate there's been a crash and they're clearing debris away,
it retards your throttle a bit.
It retards your throttle, so everyone then goes at the same pace.
Gotcha.
Until the wreckage is cleared, and then you get a green, they get the countdown, and then the green light comes on, and you're back to full throttle pace. And then, like you say, you can have tyre wear, and you can have weather optional. So if you put weather at 100%, that means you're driving in dry conditions, and then guaranteed at some point during your race, you'll get a warning that the rain clouds are coming, and then suddenly your car is reduced performance because you've got the wrong tyres on. You then have to come into the pits, which is the start-finish straight. You stay in that start-finish straight for 5 seconds, which simulates your tyre change, and then you're back out at full speed again.
We are still talking about slot car racing. This has not been elevated to some kind of VR simulation of actual racing.
No,
this is incredible.
You're right.
I think we're opening the eyes of anyone who, like me, was ignorant enough to just think, you're just holding down on an accelerator and watching your car zip past.
And let's not forget also that I haven't done slot racing for 25 years. And I went down the rabbit hole, and I've done, I've gone online, done research, and I've bought lots of varying brands of cars. So I've got the Scalextric car, but I've also got an MSC Metro, and I've got a Carrera BMW, and a Ninko BMW M3 arrived yesterday, and this has actually got an angle winder motor. So this means that the motor inside the car, when you take the body off, is actually at a diagonal angle, with a pinion attaches to the crown gear on the axle directly at like a 45-degree angle almost. And
for increased performance.
It's very weird for increased performance. Supposedly it is more efficient and helps with stability. But I've got some issues with that. I need to get it into the workshop because the pinion gear is a little bit not meshing with the crown gear properly. I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I'm just literally spouting words that I've read off of a forum. So please don't take this as I'm an expert by any means. But look
what do you
forward.
mean, Chief? You're on a podcast. Of course you're the expert. We're self-appointed, man. You can trust us. We're from the internet.
I'm going to start recording lap times, get my spready out, obviously, and see which car's fastest, which car has the best motor, etc. But there you go, yeah. The world of slot car racing, it's more exciting than you maybe thought.
Incredible. I've had some new arrivals myself this past week. Very exciting.
I watched the video just prior to this. Very exciting. I love it. So yeah, explain to those who haven't seen it what it's about.
Well, I blame lockdown, man. I've been doing some shopping, and my collection has always been in a very comfortable place. But out here in Australia, of course, I'm 9 time zones away from it. So I've been buying things that I never really thought I liked, but now have found some love for, and one of them is the G.I. Joe Havoc.
Yeah.
Which is a weird vehicle, but you can't deny its appeal. It does not make any practical sense whatsoever. But this is in the realm of just pure fun and little concern with like actual vehicle survivability. Big old glass canopy up front. The crew lie down and look at their instruments, so they're not even getting the benefit of the great view. Yep. It's got a gun chair, which I don't know how it loads, I don't know how it aims, and I don't know how the guy riding it survives anything at all. It looks like he'll be, thrown off it like a mechanical bull if it goes through some heavy terrain. And then it's got a rear-facing deployable scoutcraft. I know this is not news to anyone listening to this, but like just listing the strange attributes of this vehicle, it's incredible that it all just fits into one tight little package. It's very fun. What do you think of the driver, cross-country? Ever had any love for a good old Civil War reenactment?
He's very stylized, isn't he? He's very, he's not like he's wearing dress greens or a particular style of I don't know, military outfit. It's a strange design for, I don't know. Probably not. No, short answer, no. I potentially haven't had any love for him, but I don't know. The more I kind of look at him and observe it, there's the quirkiness does kind of have some appeal, actually.
Yeah, I suppose it's the boldest way to make the statement that you're from the South and you're proud of it. You know, you're not necessarily like bitter about the way history turned out, but you know, in the boldest, brightest way of painting him, just like the Dukes of Hazzard, he rocks a Confederate flag.
Yeah,
it's controversial, maybe, but maybe not in 1986.
Maybe not in 1986, but like you say, was it required? No, I don't think it was at all. Just a bold choice, if nothing more. But yeah,
he does have a snappy hat. Something we might get onto in a bit.
Yes.
But Chief, you know, I think I have started something. I think I might be in a bit of trouble.
Oh dear.
The Streets of Rage thing has taken root. I have found it very difficult to wrestle my laptop away from Kim these days because she's had a couple of days off consecutively, and any opportunity we get, we go head-to-head or two-player cooperative to try and complete Streets of Rage 3, and I have determined, apart from the fact that, like, she's obsessed and it's taking up more time than it perhaps should have, the reason people are down on Streets of Rage 3 is because the European release is very difficult. In fact, unfairly so, because they wanted you to buy the game and not complete it, you know, after renting it for one night.
Right.
That's why. The Japanese version, which I have an emulation of, is far more inviting, far more playable.
Yes. And
it clothes your characters in their original skins.
Right.
For some reason, the European release changed that.
Now, you did say something that worried me, and you kind of reiterated it there when you said, I can't wrestle the laptop away from Kim. So
we are playing on a television. I've hooked it up HDMI style, so don't worry, Chief. We live in large, man.
No, I was just more concerned that you were playing an emulator rather than the actual console.
Not everyone's flash with the cash, bro. Well, look, I mean, Genesis or Mega Drive, if you will, that is an era of gaming that slipped me by, man. I was too young to convince my parents to get the 16 meg generation consoles.
Now,
I think maybe if I'd put my mind to it, maybe. But I mean, I think consoles were for big boys.
Yes. Now, how are you controlling the characters then? What's your mode of control?
I have a PlayStation Mini. It came with 2 controllers. I think it came with 2 controllers. Maybe my friend included a second one, so maybe it didn't come with 2. And the config works out quite nicely. And PS1 controllers are, oh dear, the gold standard in my eyes.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Now that you've reiterated, or now that you've clarified that you're kind of playing it. Oh, so wait a minute. You're playing it on the PlayStation Mini.
No, okay. I've plugged my PlayStation Mini controls into the laptop using the USB pins.
Of course.
The screen of the television set is in use, but letterboxed so that it's, you know, in the correct ratio. So the black borders on either side.
Yes.
And what more is there to say, man? It's a great option.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sated. I'm pleased now. I'm back on board.
Indeed. But Kim's turned into a bit of a monster. Like the kind of language that comes out of her mouth.
Really?
I have never heard her say these words before. It's delightful. It's very amusing.
She doesn't like to lose.
Well, it's not frustration. It's more like she enjoys.
Oh right,
slapping.
Take
that.
Yeah. Take that, your mother jubber. Right.
Exactly. I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
He's a crazy mother jubber. Yeah.
Like that.
Yes. I thought when you started that, I thought you were going to say, Chief, I've got a problem, because you were coming out of the toy section. I thought you were going to say, I'm now going to start to have to start buying lots of toys to furnish the Australian pad, and you were going to go down that toy buying rabbit hole in Australia, and I thought, well, if I'm going down the Skeletrix rabbit hole, we'll probably meet in the Earth's core halfway each.
Indeed, buddy. Oh man,
let the core beware, I say.
Indeed. Well, look, it's early days. I may well be purchasing a few more toys. I don't know, man. What's going to happen first? The credit card's going to say access denied, or my appetite being sated. I think we're all right for now. But buddy, there's something else that needs sating, and that's my appetite for food.
Damn diggity, I'm on board with that. Snack police. Potato chips, crisps, biscuits and candy, washing them down with a whiskey or a brandy. Chewy sweets, cookies, built around jerky, snacks running fair because we got them at our mercy. We're snackers, attackers, bad mother truckers, and we're eating all the crackers, munchers, crunchers, knockout snacks like we're heavyweight punchers. The snack police are in his house.
So, I think I'm getting perhaps more mileage out of this than I should, but
Yes.
it's a subtle difference this time. We ordered chili bites from our biltong guy. Now, these are, I think, what you were trying to describe in a previous episode, and I fobbed it off as droevos. But
Yeah.
no, what your flatmate or housemate back in your digs was ordering, I think, were these. They were snap sticks, which
Yes.
are drier than biltong, but they are still made in the same process, kind of brined with spices. And then because they're drier and have more of a snap to them, you can actually prepare, you don't have to air dry them, you can actually dehydrate them in either a dehydrator or in a oven on a low temperature.
Okay.
In about 4 to 6 hours.
Quite chewy though. I mean, not chewy, but quite. When you put the stick in your mouth and you try and bite off a chunk, you have to give it some force.
You do, but
yeah.
what happens, the magic of your own saliva just reactivate the juices of the meat, and it's tasty. And what is unique about chili bites is obviously it's prepared, you've either added Tabasco to the brine or you've seasoned it with chili flakes, so you get a bit of a zing with every mouthful. I don't know if it's going to be an audio experience, but here goes a stick now.
Do it.
Anybody get any of that?
Oh, damn straight I got that, yeah. Good chewing. Good mastication.
Excuse me? Coming here with your English skills? Yeah, Chief, it's lovely, it's meaty, it keeps very well, and obviously the chili edge just takes it up a whole nother level, baby.
Yeah, good, very good. We don't actually rate these snacks, do we? Maybe we should start rating them out of 10.
I think it's either a pass or fail grade for me.
All right, yes,
Because
okay, what are you saying?
I'm very, there's no grey when it comes to snacks for me. It's like it's either garbage or it's like, yes, that is a snack that I will revisit.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to rate this one for you. You're giving it 2 thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what the chief has got. Let me just bend down here a second. No, nothing funky's going on there. Now, not really a snack, but it is my lunchtime in the UK right now. And what I have is, I had this yesterday as well. So nice, I'm having it again. It is a sandwich, and it is a homemade spinach, pea and quinoa patty. And basically I looked in the cupboard, I thought, look, let's start using up some of this dried food, dried wares in the cupboard. Big bag of quinoa, what should I do? I made some sweet treat. Oh, I could have had a sweet treat as well. I made these things called little Swedish hoovers, which are homemade marzipan, coloured green with spinach, and then quinoa and chocolate fillings. And you wrap that filling put that into a log, wrap it in this green marzipan, then dip the ends in chocolate. Anyway, I digress. I don't have that. What I do have is this patty, and then I fried up a couple of strips of something called bacon, which is vegan bacon. And then I chopped up a little mini cucumber for a bit of crunch, a big beef tomato, as in, I don't know if they're called, like, what would you call, like an oversized tomato? In the UK, we call them beef tomatoes.
I don't see them at the local supermarket. Okay. Coles does not get them, sadly.
Okay. Well, anyway, them really
it's
big.
A really mongrel tomato, man.
Yeah, so some of them, and then a homemade sauce, which is part mayonnaise, part ketchup, part chopped up baby capers. Put those in, get it in the sandwich. I've got to be careful. Well, I'm taking my life in my hands here. Not my life, but my fingers are very sticky, and sticky for the wrong reasons, and not the reasons you're thinking of, but sticky because I tried making a loft hatch yesterday. Not a loft hatch, a loft covering, because I have the big boy beanbag, which covers the loft hatch when I'm in the loft to A, keep the noise down from downstairs, and also keep the heat in upstairs and stop the cold draft going downstairs. But where it's positioned, it's very close to the Scalextric track, and the beanbag is almost too big from a visibility point, and also it kind of encroaches. So I thought I need to build something that will just cover the loft hatch to allow me to do slot car racing without any impediments. So I found some old kitchen laminated floorboards in the loft, which the previous owner had used for the kitchen, cut them up and fashioned a a loft covering, glued it with wood glue yesterday, went to put it on today and it just fell apart because the wood glue was clearly out of date and had expired and wasn't working. So now I put on this thing called Gorilla Glue, which expands, put all that on, got a load on my fingers, and I cannot get this sticky glue off my fingers. Whatever I tried, washing up liquid, soap, vinegar, everything, I've still got a tackiness to the pads of my fingers. And so now I'm going to hold this sandwich. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll just use the other hand. Why didn't I think of that?
Genius.
Anyway, I'm picking up this sandwich. Sorry about that.
Middle Eastern rules. One hand for shaking and eating, one hand for wiping.
Oh, man. That is, I'm going to say it, as one of the best sandwiches I've ever had.
Well, it's no longer the snack police, it's the health police. Chief, hats off to you, man. Always with the healthy option when you do the cooking, at least.
Well, I'm frying it, and it's got this bacon in it, so I don't know how healthy it is, but holy tortilla chips, that is good.
Certainly healthier than bacon that is just saturated in salt, brother. Eee.
Right, now, it's time to move on to talk about some comics. It's comic talk, baby. Chief and Steve discussing like crazy. Larry Harmer riding these bad boys, making sense of the wackiest toys. Listen as we talk about story arcs, making noise louder than Junkyard Box, talking about character motivations and all the various G.I. Joe fun locations.
Do you want me to handle it while you eat?
Oh, do you want to do the intro? No, you probably don't have it, do you?
Oh, God. Don't we talk covers first?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, issues 193 and 194 of IDW's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. We've got Larry Harmer writing and Sergio Carello on issue 193. Then issue 194, we switch it up and we get Gallant back into the art chores. I suppose I need to credit the inks, which are Brian Shearer's, and colors by Jay Brown. Wahoo. Letters by Neil Uyatake.
Right.
Do I have Chief back yet? Because I'm cocking this up. Holy.
Sandwich in the stomach, feeling good.
Excellent.
Right. Good work. Listen, covers, let's talk. 193.
Yes.
Empty mess hall, TV on, a couple of armed bad guys who have Robert Graves, which we is a name obviously familiar to the Joe fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And, quite a cover that would be easily overlooked, but a lot going on in this cover. I like it.
Oh, yeah. The old term orgy of evidence comes to mind. It really tells a story just through the imagery. There are no word balloons, but you can kind of tell what has just gone down. Isn't it interesting that G.I. Joe have their own news channel, it seems? G.I.J.TV. It's very cute. And in addition to their excellent branding, is the fact that everything has The Pit written on it. It's like, if this is a top secret base, who makes all their merchandise? Because it's on point, man. Every mug, The Pit. Every seat back, The Pit. But yes, the implication is clear. Everyone has cleared out in a big damn hurry. I mean, is it necessary to spill absolutely every liquid and food stuff while you make your exit? Well, yes, I suppose if you've got high drama and stakes, it is.
And this is a good example where, Larry Harmer's pencils, a lot of the time, his retailer incentive cover, you can say, is the definitive version, but here it's only been improved on by Gallant. Really, really fleshed out that cover.
Agreed. Yeah.
194, we have, looks like an aerial insertion. Well, it doesn't look like it is. Lady J and, a silhouetted blacked out figure who we don't know, parachuting in, effectively.
Now, a few things strike me as odd on this. Firstly, I mean, she hasn't lashed anything to her javelin. She's just kind of like, she's holding it, man. I think the weapon is leashed to her. I don't know. I'm trying to follow this cord. Her M16 or M4 is she's got that on a kind of a strap, a leash. But yeah, man, when jumping from high altitude, make sure that you have your cleavage out.
Yeah.
And you're super hardcore. You don't need no oxygen.
That's it. And especially carry that stick with a big pointy end just loose, just in case you want to fall on it. Yeah.
Hey, look, at least she wasn't stupid enough to try and keep her hat on. But then again, maybe it was on and she's lost it within seconds. But we might find out in the issue.
Yes.
More on that to come.
There's a retailer incentive cover here by Jim Rugg, and it looks to be 5 Joes, all with their fists in the air, standing in front of, what's that, the Mobat, do you think?
Yes, I do think. I think this is a rejigging of the end of the animated series intro sequence.
Okay.
They pull out, and the whole team is kind of assembled, putting their fists in the air, and the big old American flag behind them, and kind of a string of vehicles. I think the Mobat is in there. The Sky Striker is part of that lineup. It looks very much like it's pulled from animation. But of course, he had to resize the title and maybe rejig and cut out the characters and position them in front of the Mobat. So there's some work that's gone into it, but I think that is from, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the second miniseries, because it's got Roadblock in there, who wasn't around for the first miniseries, and also this version 2 of Snake Eyes and Flint. All those characters were kind of not present and accounted for in the first cartoon miniseries.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that.
Let's crack on. Let's open up. We need to do a recap, so I guess we better say, last time on A Real American Hero. While Snake Eyes and Scarlet take a much-deserved vacation, other players begin making their move. Granny Arashikage sends Jinx and Pale Peony on a secret mission. Cobra begins to rally the troops. Destro prepares for the inevitable, and when an accident sends a service elevator throttling down in the pit, G.I. Joe discovers something under their desert facility. Just very quickly, I'm jumping off topic here. What did I watch on YouTube today? And I said, "Oh, did you do all the voices?" Snakebite.
Oh, Snakebite. Yeah. It's a little stop motion.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, me doing that silly voice there. I thought you did a fantastic job there, voicing all that. So
thanks, pal.
There you go. Go and check it out.
As I say, my former career, I did tread the boards and do funny voices for a time. So it's fun. I mean, it was really, really nice that he had produced this stop motion animation piece, but hadn't scripted it or done any of the voices. So I was like, right, I see where I can step in.
How long did that take you, do you think?
Oh, buddy, I can crack those out easy. When it comes to... I used to do dubbing for Bollywood films and TV series.
Really?
And let me tell you, pal, Indian TV has no ceiling. Like, the amount of content that Bollywood produces, we could dub that stuff till the day we die and make no dent in it. Like, it's so... The idea, really, sadly, is quantity over quality. Like, it's like back to the 60s in terms of dubbing quality. I've done some work there that I'm not terribly proud of. But the idea is, you just got to crank it out, man. Yeah. Soap opera. There's an episode every day. And they can talk, man. I wonder if there's any actual script, or the director just walks onto the floor and he kind of briefs the actors, okay, in this scene, you're going to have an argument because you think your husband is being unfaithful. And go.
Action.
And they just roll for like, okay, we need 5 minutes. Okay, boom, done. Next scene. Oh, crazy, man.
Right, back to The Real American Hero.
Yes,
good episode.
sorry.
I think good episode so far. I'm enjoying this one. Listen,
we're all over the place, Chief.
This is the way it should be, man. Organic. There's a couple of things going on here. Obviously, the main crux of it is happening in Rio Lindo, but there's also stuff going on in the pit. And this is kind of touched upon the end of last time, and you mentioned this might be a bit of a long game, but the issue opens up with that, where the Mauler's broken through a wall and they find some old tunnels that were built, maybe 60 years ago, or facilities, and kind of led me to a question of, do we ever know who actually built the modern day pit? Wouldn't have been the Joes themselves? Could it have been contractors, or I don't know how that would have been financed and actually physically built.
Who built the Batmobile?
Yeah.
These questions, man, like, how do you do something super secret? I think what is percolating in this long game that Harmer has just like pulled out of his ass is the fact that the pit was a pre-existing facility for some other purpose.
Yeah, right.
So the Joes they're just tenants, man. This isn't their house.
Do you like the idea of there being or the possibility of there being a G.I. Joe payrolled workforce that we never see? They're just, green shirts that are behind the scenes doing a lot of admin and, physical labour and things like that, plumbers, electricians, all that kind of thing. Do you like that they are part of the G.I. Joe team, but they're just obviously never seen or referenced or anything? Do you like to flesh that out or not?
I like the idea that only actual card-carrying members or G.I. Joes are G.I. Joe team members. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
G.I. Joe can have support staff, sure, but the guys barracked at the pit are Joes and Joes alone. I suppose it all comes down to how much secrecy you like your G.I. Joe unit to have. Yeah. Like, it's gone from, like, super extreme secrecy in some comic runs where I think at the beginning of the IDW relaunch, in fact, like, Duke was effectively KIA. He was off the books and being offered a job by Hawk. It's like, in order to become a Joe, you have to be dead. I'm not sure I agree with that level of like cutting yourself off from the world. I like three-dimensionality to my soldiers, and I like the fact that Joes have lives. They have civilian lives. They take shore leave. They're human beings, and G.I. Joe as an entity is not completely secret. It's like we know about GSG-9, the German counter-terror unit. We know about MI6, MI5. We know about what other examples are there? The SAS.
Yes, yeah.
What do you think, Chief? Do you think that the support staff should be called Joes?
I do agree with pretty much all you've said there, and I like the uniqueness and because all the Joes have been pulled from different facets of the military, that makes them elite and the best of the best. And if there are a support staff of essential, whether it be just baseline paramedics or welders or labourers or carpenters or whatever, or people that are helping facility staff, that are helping run
sailors,
that help.
You can't run the USS Flag with just the members of the G.I. Joe team. Impossible.
Exactly. So whether they are not card carrying G.I. Joes, but they are part of the fold, so they've been drafted in maybe, but they haven't been, like you say, given the card, but they are definitely part of the team. I kind of like that route, yeah.
I like the idea, for the most part, with a few notable exceptions maybe, that all proper Joes are first and foremost field operatives who have gone through that sort of hell week with Duke, that washout program, that Lightfoot and Repeat and Budo did. Like, press-ups till you can't do press-ups no more. And like the last people standing make it into the G.I. Joe team. That sort of thing appeals to me. And for the same reasons that you listed, I'm going to get controversial here and say I don't like the idea of green shirts or Steel Brigade. The idea of G.I. Joe having a cannon fodder is not something I enjoy, because I don't think G.I. Joe is deployed like a conventional army.
No.
They're surgical strike specialists. They're not meant to be bullet stoppers. They're not meant to fight in pitched battles. They can assist.
We don't really get much of that in the comics, though, do we? Has there been many issues where we've seen just faceless, nameless, troops?
No, I think Harmer's steered clear of it. It was something that was more a case with the Devil's Due run. They brought in the green shirt idea, and G.I. Joe as a toy line always had the Steel Brigade, which was us. Sort of imprinting, you could send away for a G.I. Joe that had your own name and a code name of your choosing and specialties of your choosing.
Right.
You'd sort of fill out a little entry form, and they'd send you back a figure. Of course, they didn't send it as far as South Africa, sadly. That's probably why I don't like the Steel Brigade. I'm like, I wasn't part of the club, man.
Carrying on from here, so we've discovered this little potential secret from the pit, which Duke possibly knows something about, but he's not telling at the moment. And down there, you've obviously got Clutch and Rock and Roll. And this bit I found a bit odd. Clutch is saying here, wait, I was put through the brainwave scanner by Cobra way back when. His memory's coming back to him, obviously. And they messed with my memories. Could they have done that again? And then this is about to get really interesting. And this is a big story point if Clutch is remembering that he's come from Cobra, and this needs to be fully investigated. And then Airtight pops in and says, come on boys, let's go and watch the TV. And it's just completely squashed. And I'm like, this is not great storytelling, because that stream, you either need to not have Clutch say that and it gets picked up in a following issue, or if you're going to have that panel, you've got to give me more, Larry. You've got to develop that, because then the Joes look like absolute chumps because Clutch is telling them something really important, and they're like, Clutch, that old joker, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to go and watch the TV.
Yeah, it seems like everything's kind of being put on ice. I mean, obviously Clutch is having this moment, but like the fact that Duke throws a big lid on the secret at the bottom of the pit as well, like a lot of threads that are exposed in these early pages of the issue are like disregarded. It's like, no. We need to get to the action. Part of me is like, okay with that.
Yeah,
sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to differ with you on that.
As the guys are getting ready to watch the TV, I just want to ask you a quick question here. It's the page where Roadblock is top left and he's serving up something. I can't really pronounce that. I don't know if you want to go. No reason we can't have a nice nosh while we watch our old buddy make good. Anybody care for the saucisse alamande cruise? I don't know, whatever that is. But what I actually wanted to say was, there is our man cross country on the left, Gung Ho's on the right. Who's the guy in the middle?
Ha! Oh dear.
By the way, we've got a new jingle coming. This will have come a bit later in the episode, but I need this guy identified.
Buddy, I have not the foggiest.
Okay.
If I was to jump in with a guess, I'd say maybe Sergeant Savage. Like, this is something else. I don't know, this is the artist off script. I wonder if Larry actually indicated who that character was meant to be, or if it was just like, I don't know, draw your pal.
I think I don't know if I was a bit harsh on Sergio Corello on the last episode for his last issue's work, but I'm really digging this. The first half, Gallant actually comes on for the back end of this issue.
Yes, I noticed the switch, my goodness.
But for the first half, I'm actually really digging the art here. It's a little bit of kind of rough and ready, but some of the angles and the layouts, I'm really actually enjoying.
Oh yeah, man, the framing and the foreshortening, like when we'll get there, but when one of the terrorists is reaching out at the camera almost.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
And his hand is really busting out right into your face. And then all the panels with the Joes scrambling. Fantastic work. Jeez, very dramatic.
The one following that guy with the hand coming to the camera where the coffee cups kind of simulating the front cover of falling off the table, almost in slow motion depicted, smashing, individually framed. Really good. And the reason, if you haven't read the issues, the reason why there's panic in the pit is because Grunt is over there in Rio Lindo, and he's helping to front up a project which is what's the project actually doing? Helping local economy.
I think it's hydroelectricity.
That's
hydro and wind powered, like clean energy, basically.
Yes. And there's a load of ambassadors kind of in a speaking engagement, and as it's all going down, there's also George Strawhacker's brother is there as well, and he will play a part coming up later on. And suddenly we're engaged in a firefight, and it looks like terrorists have taken over this. They're at the airport, aren't they? The tower at the airport where this is taking place. And a big firefight, breaks out, and it's carnage.
I think this is it at the airport?
Or is that where they take them, sorry?
Yeah, I think that's where they take them. They're at the American embassy in Rio Gordo.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yes, sorry, yeah.
Rio Gordo, which I think that's Fat River. I think my Spanish stretches as far as that.
Okay. What was I saying? Rio Lindo.
I think Rio Lindo is the...
Oh, maybe that's where they take them. Maybe this is in Rio Gordo. They take them to Rio Lindo in the next issue.
Yes.
Right.
And these are cities, presumably in Sierra Gordo. Fat Mountain.
Right, yes. Yeah.
Nice, pal. We know where we are. Amazing. George Strawhacker, remind me, ye who did the A-Raw reread more recently.
George Strawhacker, he was Snake Eyes' sister's fiancé, yeah.
Gotcha. And he was in the gulag.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, and he got killed, didn't he?
Did he? Did Snake Eyes not succeed in rescuing him?
Oh, I think he got rescued, but then at a later date, I think he got killed when they returned.
Damn it. Everything that poor man touches, huh? Snake Eyes is a cursed character.
Yeah. But this guy's popped up, and in this issue, you get a little bit of an inkling in the next issue, but even in this one, there's rumblings that something's going on. So the guys, or the crowd that Grunt is with alongside, giving his speech and salutations to, etc., some of them maybe have got ulterior motives, and we don't know at this point whether Strawhacker is a good guy or not, but there's something fishy going on with some of these people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fishy too that the terrorists use laser spotters. I find that that's an old action trope, but it's something that tips off good old Robert Graves, aka the former Grunt.
Yes.
That something's amiss. So he tackles the Marine to the ground instead of letting him get shot.
Yeah. And or is it a Marine? And that's where there's the other part of the story going on here is Pale Peony and Jinx. Now, last we saw them, they were getting a super cryptic Matrix Morpheus style message from Granny Arashikage of, you need to do something to help stop something. Go and do it. And that was about all the information they got. So they made their way.
Found some leads, man. They seem to know what they're doing in spite of not knowing what they're doing.
I don't know how they found it, but they went to Oliistan and started posing as slave workers and made it to the office of the boss who's running this factory and found a secret entrance in his office. And this is actually a company that is a subsidiary of Revanche Technologies, which we all know has a lot to do with the Blue Ninjas. So as soon as you see that, you're like, uh-oh, here they come again. And they discover in the catacombs or the basement of his office some schematics, and Pale Peony actually says, here's the schematics. What we were producing upstairs are components that mechanically duplicate the functions of the Blue Ninjas. And Jinx says, that's crazy, the Blue Ninjas are cyborgs, they start out as human beings. But then it turns out these schematics eliminate the human and other organic parts. What these are plans for is something totally machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are interrupted by some badass with a couple of belts of ammo around his chest, and he looks like he means business.
Oh, yes. Some unique footwear, but I suppose we'll get onto that in a bit as well. Hey, the way I kind of stitch these things together in my head, maybe this is what Demon Granny or Demon Auntie, I don't know, Grandmother Arashikage was on about. So the Arashikage clan taught the old master, the older brother of the hard master and soft master. And he got interred in that Russian prison camp where he trained. Was it Boris's granddad or was it his dad? Anyway,
something like
Boris's ancestor, who then passed on Arashikage training to Boris, who then started dojos, in Russia and around the world. Boris trained Sensei Moscovina, and she transitioned into being I suppose you couldn't call her a blue ninja, but she certainly started the transformation.
Yeah.
So is this a very long-winded way of the Arashikage closing the loop and tying off the fact that they have connections to the Blue Ninjas? Like it's either they will defeat the Blue Ninja clan, or the other way around, the Blue Ninjas will eliminate the Arashikage. And Jinx and Pale Peony have been sent to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That scans.
That sounds good. There is a bit of a deep cut in here in the middle of the issue where the ambassadors and the delegates are about to give their speech, and the guys are talking in the pit, and they're talking about Grunt, and I don't know who it is. Red collar. I'm not sure, but he says that's where Grunt, he met Lola. Hey Rip, when are you bailing out and getting hitched? And Ripcord says, sigh, there was only ever one girl for me. And that's it. And it moves on to the next panel, and it's a small little word balloon, but it's quite a deep cut because obviously Ripcord's talking about Candy, who he had the relationship with, and she was killed by Scrap Iron's missile when he blew up the car that the Soft Master was driving all those years ago. And for Larry to kind of drop that in, didn't need to be in there, but I don't know, he's kind of evoking, I thought, that's, it got me a little bit. It's a little nugget of history from G.I. Joe.
The term that people throw around these days is member berries. Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Because you remember. Ha ha. So it's targeted at the members. The red collar looks like an original 13 kind of design.
Right.
I think there's a bit of like artistic flair. They had red knit collars, whatever.
Yes.
It could be Steeler, perhaps?
Yeah. Anyway, I sent you a commission. A friend of the show, Peter Seddon, had a commission done by Rod Wiggum. It was basically a montage of Candy. And hopefully he'll put that up on the social media posts to,
Indeed.
tie into this issue. But, I like that nice little touch by Larry. They didn't need to do that. Now,
Once you've had the Bongo the Balloon Bear, you can think of no other. Poor old Ripcord, he's still smitten.
That's it. Now, the Joes, after they've seen all this go down live on the TV over in Sierra Gordo, they are furious, and obviously they want to mount a strike force to effectively help out their comrade in arms, or ex-comrade in arms. And we get some scenes here of all the Joes piling together, yo-joing, ooh-rahing, etc. And at the bottom of one of these pages, there's a panel, and I was struggling to name some of these Joes, so I think it might be time for a new segment. Roll that jingle. Here we go. Name the Joes. I said Steven's gotta name the Joes. Is there a clue in the character pose? Maybe the outfit or the funky clothes? Do I spy a pair of pantyhose? Some facial hair or distinctive nose? Steven needs to ID the Joes. Knock 'em over like dominoes. Or Larry Hammer's polyphonic prose? Can S-Jub name the Joes? Name them.
Oh, here we goes.
Okay, wild.
Oh man, that's a great jingle, Chief. My word,
Thank you.
man.
I don't have a page number, but if you're at home, it's the page after Pale Peony and Jinx have just discovered this masked marauder who's a whole page splash. Turn the page and there you'll see it, bottom left, last panel, Duke's addressing a crowd. Now, I can name quite a few of these, but let's let you do it. Let's go, right, just name them off.
Can I fill in the blanks, Chief? I suppose we got to stick with the jingle, man.
So, no, I can do the ones I know if you want me to.
All right. Well, I wanted my opening salvo to be the fact that I resent slightly the fact that Duke is using a telephone that makes use of the movie G.I. Joe logo.
Where's he using a telephone? Oh, at the top. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's enough snark from me. Let's do the naming. Should we start top left?
Go on.
No, you start.
All right. Looks like Alpine.
Very good.
Okay.
Next to him, I'd say...
I don't know, so this is on you.
Short fuse. Blonde hair,
yes.
The harness. I think he's got glasses, and classically,
yes.
In the original 13, he wore specs.
Okay, right, fine. Going on to here, Lifeline.
Very good.
Okay, now, kind of on Lifeline's left shoulder, who's that? Turquoisey blue shirt, red lid.
Red lid. Looks like a very red bell end of a helmet, and that's some Cockney slang. I mean, it's worse in the toy, but his name's Downtown. He's a mortar soldier. Right, which is ironic because a lot of people thought, like, why not just make that short fuse version 2? But he's his own character.
Next to him, you've got Bazooka.
Correct.
And then in front of Bazooka to the left, Leatherneck.
Yeah.
And then to the right, Cutter.
Mm-hmm. Boston, baby.
And then to the right of that, it looks like Tunnel Rat.
Yep. Back from his mission in the previous
Back from his mission. And then kind of down and in front of Tunnel Rat, squared off. I was going to say Repeater, but I'm not sure.
Chief, you are better at this than I think you give yourself credit.
Okay.
Yeah, damn straight. That looks like Repeater's harness. Slightly different hair color, though. Repeater's a brunette.
Yes, that's what kind of threw me. Next to Repeater is that... Now, I don't know if this is the vehicle or his name. Armadillo?
Chief, stop it. Yeah, he's Armadillo. Confusing name because, of course, there is a mini-tank called the Armadillo, but he came with the Rolling Thunder.
Oh, yes. Shit, oh, yeah, of course. In front of him is Spirit.
Ha!
Knife.
I think that is Red Dog.
Yes, you're probably right.
I think... Does he wear a number 1 on his jersey?
No, it's definitely not Spirit now that I look at it, but again...
He's a Samoan barefoot place kicker. And then he was banned from football because of unnecessary roughness. Ha ha. Okay. He then found his way into a unit that isn't quite G.I. Joe, but it's under Sergeant Slaughter.
The Renegades.
The Renegades, there you go.
Yes. And then to the left of him, don't know, you're going to have to help me out there.
I think this quite possibly could be a slip. He doesn't have a line, so I think the community didn't jump all over Harmer at this point, but it might be an artist error, and we'll forgive it because Sergio isn't long-running artist with G.I. Joe, but I think that
now,
looks like...
I'm cutting you off there. I think this is S.L. Gallant.
It's Gallant's
Sergio's last page was the last one. I think this is Gallant.
That would explain it. Yeah, look, this is... I think this is Crankcase. The moustache, the cable knit jersey, the popped collar, the harness. If I'm incorrect, please let me know, listeners.
Why is that a slip then? Is Crankcase dead? Yeah, he is dead, isn't he?
Gunned down, man. Saw Viper had him. Or he died off panel. I can never remember who was killed in what fashion. But yeah, Crankcase bit it back in Trucial Abysmia.
Right, I'm jumping back up to Bazooka. Directly above Bazooka, it looks like you've got Low Light. Mm-hmm. To the left of Low Light, all you've got is a pair of trousers and looks like a silvery white glove. No idea.
It's difficult to say because there's a lot of neon green popping up, but if this was the only neon green in that picture, would that change your answer slightly, Chief?
Neon green.
Think Laser Trooper.
Sci-fi.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah,
but once again, there's so much neon green that like it could just be a Joe in green.
Yeah. Okay. To Low Light's right. Nope. Don't know.
Oh, well... Dogfight is a pilot.
Maybe.
Very analogous look to Wild Bill, like mirror shades, moustache. He has like an old school World War II captain hat.
Right, yes.
But he's not wearing the hat in the picture, so
no.
I'm going to go with Dogfight. Okay.
All right, to his right, Beachhead.
Mm-hmm.
And then in between those two, very difficult. Looks like it's just a forearm with a kind of khaki... coloured jacket.
Next to impossible, Chief. I wouldn't hang yourself for that, man.
Could just be generic.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Just give me a name then. Just tell me anyone who it could be.
Gosh. Rolled up sleeves. Duke's already off the table. Shit. Recondo hasn't been accounted for, and Recondo has made some appearances, so I'm going to go with Recondo.
There you go, that's Recondo. And then next to Beachhead, but slightly lower with the shades on, I don't know.
Recoil,
okay.
I'm going to go with Recoil. Just the way... Those are actually magazines on the figure. Those green blotches. Right. They're not detailed enough on this artwork to say, but brown gloves, shades, yeah, Recoil.
Okay, and then above Recoil there, you've got the kind of lighter green trousers. You've got what looks like some sort of flak jacket in green, black gloves, no idea.
I should recognise that pattern on his thigh. I've seen it before, but I can't place it. So I'm also drawing a blank there, Chief. Look, I didn't want to do any kind of prep or research for this. I wanted to give it a fair sporting chance. So once again, if anyone wants to do the legwork, I'd be very, very intrigued. We will definitely be putting this panel up on the socials.
You bet. And the jingle was partially accurate. I devised it to let you guess, but I think I had a bit of a go, but you filled in the blanks for me, so there you go. If you haven't got this issue to hand, that last 5 minutes might not mean much to you, but once the panel goes up, it will, so you'll be okay.
Something else I want to include on the socials. Recondo cracks a joke about salted nuts way back on, I think, page 9. It kind of falls flat because, well, Lady J is offering everyone salted nuts, and she says, "These enough salted nuts for you boys?" And Rekondo's like, "I'd make a snappy reply to that, but there's a lady present." And Zap says, "Zing! I want the listeners to insert their favorite line, their best response to what Lady J set up in that panel."
What was Rekondo's line going to be if a lady wasn't present?
Care to take a crack, Chief?
No, I do not. Okay, done. Listen, I had a bit of an issue here with all the Joes getting super amped and pumped to go on this mission, which may or may not happen, because they got to get past the jugglers for the first instance. But I don't know, something just didn't seem right in that. Why don't they mount this kind of similar zeal and enthusiasm for just a regular hostage or hijacking? Yes, okay, Grunt is involved, but they should be showing this same enthusiasm for any situation where they could get involved.
Yeah, it's a little too dramatic. I mean, the Joes surely know standard procedures. Like, they can't go into a foreign country, no matter who of their buddies is in there, without the green light. And this is a massive mobilization. This isn't Ripcord taking the law into his own hands and parachuting over Cobra Island, going solo, going rogue. This is like a This is like a mutiny almost. The Joes are like, we're going to do this mission. To hell with the chain of command. And who is it that steps out in front and is addressing them? Is it Recondo? There's a mobile command center in the background and a desert fox. And
that's it.
When you are kind of all fired up like that, who dictates who the commanding officer is? Because as we know in G.I. Joe, your actual pay grade rank doesn't necessarily mean you're calling the shots on the mission.
No.
So in this instance, when everyone's fired up, how do they draw straws? It's we're all of equal command position at this point. Let's, how do we work this out?
If they're watching that TV and Grunt wasn't there as part of that delegate, how would the response have differed? Would they have just said, I hope someone sorts this out? Or would they have mounted, a similar roll call of equipment and people?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just happened very organically. They're a little bit less than a professional military unit at this point, I'm afraid.
Definitely. Most definitely. I do want to now jump forward to the next issue, because on the first page, I know you're happy, there's a load of guys in green, but there's one guy in blue. Actually, no, sorry, there's two guys in blue. One's got a parrot, but the guy I want to talk about in blue is your pal, Shockwave.
You bet, baby. Before we talk about my favorite boy in blue, how amazing was the cosmetic surgery on Lieutenant Falcon's face?
Oh yeah, because we saw him being stitching his own face, wasn't he?
There you go. In the second to last panel, he's barking orders again. He's talking fine.
That's it.
He should have an entrance wound and an exit wound in that face.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Maybe he's wearing a rubber mask. Borrowed one off Snake Eyes.
And the very next panel, you do see Dogfight. That's him, with that captain's hat.
Right, yes.
The glasses, the handlebar moustache. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, but listen, I watched your unboxing video of the Havoc and a few other things, and you pulled out a Shockwave, your old Shockwave, and he is loosey-goosey on them joints.
Well, that just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you put some mileage on your toy. Can you truly say that it's your favorite figure of all time if it's not loose, a little bit faded? My Shockwave, you can't quite tell if he's blue or green because he's kind of halfway in between.
Nice.
But that's my boy, and I cannot bear the thought of getting another.
Fair.
There's something more inviting about a toy that has been played with, and played with by yourself. Every bit of paint wear, every chip, every loose joint tells a story, man.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't pick up another Shockwave, to be honest.
No. In terms of his comic appearances, where he was introduced in the comic, I think, was it during the drug storyline, the triple threat one, where you had the ninjas in Transcarpathia, you had...
you're thinking of his version 2 then. That was the DEF era. But Shockwave in his 88 costume... I think he had a few run-ins in special missions. I think it was the 30th anniversary of G.I. Joe, or the 35th anniversary of G.I. Joe 12-inch. That raid on the, what building is it? The Chrysler building.
The Chrysler building, yes.
Yes, with Joe and Jane. I think he had his debut there. It was
quite right.
An urban setting, so it really made sense for him to be tip of the spear on that mission.
And there was that one with the, like you say, the special missions where there's a house and there's some people with hostages, and it's a mistaken identity case of who the actual terrorist is and who the hostage is. Yeah,
great cover, man. Oh man! If you're a Shockwave fan, that's your your crowning glory, I guess.
He hasn't had necessarily much fleshing out the character, but here he gets one line of dialogue, and it actually, or a couple, but in that first panel, and it tells you a lot about the character, because is that Dial Tone who says, you double check your gear, Shockwave, and he just says, I always triple check, Dial Tone. And that tells you a lot about the guy.
He's a pro, but I fear the balaclava has placed him in the beachhead camp.
Most definitely.
I think Larry paints them with the same brush. They're sticklers for detail. There should be more strings to Shockwave's bow, but he's never gotten an ounce of actual personality.
No.
But I mean, how do you put a character onto a guy who walks around in a balaclava? I don't think we've seen him unmasked in the comic book.
No.
Oh no, wait, we probably have the DEF version, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We also learned these guys are in transit now. They've been given the all clear, and we get a communique from the terrorists, and it's not great because it's almost, I don't want to say there's a worse kind of terrorist because I'm not sure what the worst kind is, but these guys say we have no demands and no hostages will be ransomed. And that is it. So effectively, they're just going to say, we're going to start killing these people live on TV.
Kind of makes you wonder why they waited so long. They had the cameras pointed at them at the embassy.
And how do you deal with that? I mean, I don't know. You just... Well, if there's no one to reason with...
You just go in guns blazing, man. But that's what gives them the green lights by the end of the issue, is that the fact that these terrorists, there's nothing to be lost by not going in with the best team capable.
Right, so sorry, they're flying in, not with the green light, you're right, but to be ready, effectively, to engage if necessary. And then at a later date, I think, more information comes to light, and then the jugglers say, do it, and go for it.
Yeah, when they see the pistol whipping, it kind of tells them that these terrorists aren't interested in making demands, they aren't interested in drawing this out. Like, our guys are going to get killed, and the president is going to get killed. The president of Rio Lindo, her life is in jeopardy. If you've got a team ready to go, it's time. Yeah. Having all the aircraft in a splash page like we see on page 3 only works in comic book splash pages, because varying types of aircraft with varying performances, top speeds and ceilings will not fly in formation ever unless it's like an air show. Because of course you're only going as fast as your slowest bird, and that's definitely the Tomahawk. And lowest bird, it's got its doors open. They can't be flying above 10,000 feet without a pressurized aircraft.
Would there be all different kinds of jet wash as well, I wonder? I don't know.
Well, you definitely don't want to get anywhere near the C-130. Yeah, there would be sort of... And similarly, the helicopter would create downwash with its blades. But yeah, look, it's a nice looking picture, and it's great to see the bloody tiger rat. I mean, that's a pretty obscure piece of G.I. Joe hardware. But I don't know what's going on, man. It makes no aviation sense.
Yeah, Larry's put in a couple of what could be last page teasers in the middle of the issue. So you've got Grunt there, the camera's on him, and he's doing Morse code with his eyelids. And
he's a cool customer, hey? Damn. Yeah. To concentrate on having that much swagger for the cameras. I mean, he's grinning through his injuries, and yet with his good eye, he's blinking out some more letters in Morse.
Yeah. And then what Dial Tone determines is he only got out 6 letters. It's RLX SSE, and that's it. Then it cuts to Pale Peony and Jinx. So you're kind of left on a cliffhanger, and that could easily be the end of an issue. And that is actually revealed later on in the issue anyway, what that means. But turn the page, and you also get one of these teasers from Pale Peony and Jinx. They've been attacked down in the bunker or the basement where they were, discovered by that guy, and they pull his face mask off, and Jinx says, when she pulls it off, well, ain't that a kick in the face? We have to report this ASAP. And you don't see what they're seeing. Turn the page, and it cuts back to the Pentagon. So you've got 2 teasers, which both could have been end-of-issue reveals, or end-of-issue teasers, but both those things do get solved. I kind of like dropping those things in the middle of the issue.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, man. And it's nice that they do resolve within the issue.
Yes, yeah.
In the previous issue, we had those problematic story elements of like, oh, we've discovered something in the pit. Never mind about that. We've got something else to do. Oh, Clutch has got an interesting story. Never mind about that. We've got something else to do. But here we have conclusion, a little bit of closure.
Yes, yeah. And the letters that Grunt or Robert Graves was blinking out happened to be the Rio Lindo International Airport designation, or RLX is the designation for the Rio Lindo Airport. And Roadblock gives us another. Larry's been dropping these a lot. We had the reference to Candy in the previous issue, and here Roadblock says Grunt was in the Alpha team drop that did the Halo jump to secure that airfield along with Scarlet and Doc when the Joes deployed down there. They rescued Snake Eyes when he was down there with Quinn and Dr. Venom. And I mean, what issues was that? That was
13.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Last Plane from Rio Lindo was the name of the issue, and this is amazing recollection from a man who wasn't even part of the G.I. Joe team back then.
He read a lot of dossiers and reports.
Yeah, he must have. Very detailed. Look, I don't blame Larry for not at least having the impression that Roadblock was a part of the team by then, but no, Roadblock only came on in like Chimney Sweepers Come to Dust, which is the issue that follows the kind of conclusion of that first season of G.I. Joe, if you will.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was, but maybe, as he came on board,
he did his research.
Or the team was just telling him about their last mission, or, things like that, and he wanted
No prize to the chief. Of course, like, sure, Roadblock might have the backstory, but Rock and Roll is sitting right there, and he was actually on the mission.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, whatever. Potato. We got the information we needed.
More deep cuts and nice nostalgia drops here. Member berries, as you said, because we get to see Doc, not only referenced in text, where they say, good old Doc, he was always there for us, patched us up so many times, still hard to believe he's gone. And then you get a blurry kind of vision that Grunt is having, and, he sees Doc in a, kind of remembrance piece.
Interesting
as well,
technique,
nice.
But yeah, it does bring us on page, and being a member that I am, and I'm sure you are too, there's something very rewarding about having a callback that far. That's fantastic.
Definitely, most definitely. This is the bit where I got not confused, but it cuts to a hotel in downtown Rio Lindo, and there's some guys talking. We don't know on this first page who they are, but one of them saying, I'm telling you, Fitz, this situation is a Class A cluster foul-up. And
they got name dropped in the previous issue. They were the Chinese fella who is interested in herbal exports from Rio Lindo, the Russian guy who's interested in the oil pipeline, and they're all kind of with Hayden Strawhacker, who's perhaps the CIA man pulling the strings.
Yes. Well, my assumption here was, and again, I've read this but can't remember. I hate to bore people by telling them that every single episode, but I was assuming that they were some kind of conglomerate or something like that was against this hydroelectric plant, and they were doing what they could to sabotage it, and maybe even let the terrorists know that this was happening, or gave them access, or something like that. But I don't know if that's how it's going to play out. But
seems to me like they are in some way implicated. We don't know to what degree. We don't know if the terrorists are on their leash or payroll, but they all stand to gain by having President Velez taken out and this clean energy plan put to a halt.
Yeah. I'll tell you a page I really like. Fast forward a few pages, and you've got Mainframe, and who's that next to him? Is that Falcon?
Yeah.
Falcon.
Once again, man, no bandages on Falcon. He's looking healing factor.
And I really like that. I really like that kind of radar holo screen. And,
so good.
The third panel down just looks really, really cool. It's not eligible at all, but it looks really good. Legible. What do I say?
Yeah, looks like they might have made use of a real screen grab from what's it called? Air traffic control, ATC.
That's it.
Yeah, that looks like that's what it would be.
Yeah, I went for a job as an air traffic controller once. Did I tell you that? No.
Stressful?
It's about 6. There were 6 different stages, starting from applying online and then doing an initial online test, then going to a location to do written tests, then going to the headquarters to do simulation tests, then going back to do interviews. I got all the way to the last stage, but did not get through that last stage. Story for another time. Very interesting. But
technical stuff. Well, I was on my way to getting my pilot's license. That's, I suppose, another story for another time. But I did manage to solo and fly around a bit. Good times. Yeah. I know enough about flying to know that Angels 3.5 is 35,000 feet. Okay. And at that altitude, or that level above ground, you definitely do need a pressurized aircraft, and you need to be wearing oxygen.
Yes.
I hope the jumpers didn't deploy from that high up.
Well, I was going to say, do you know if dogs can survive jumps from that height?
Look, maybe it happened within between panels, and the plane descended to a more appropriate level. But 35,000 is not healthy. After 10 minutes without oxygen, you would be delirious.
Yeah. What if he gets that, landing wrong and he lands on top of junkyard? Don't know.
This is an interesting thing we can research, Chief. They do jump with K9 units.
Oh, really? Brilliant.
Harnessed to your chest, yeah. Dogs are trained in paradrops. It's incredible stuff. But yeah, man, they really do that.
No, I like these 2 pages here where you get and I know you're a big fan, it's actually 3 pages if you count the one before where Mutt and Junkyard are jumping. Wordless pages, and they can either be flat and not really tell a story, but as always, Gallant seems to be very good at them, and these 3 pages tell a great story.
It's fantastic, man. It forgives the sins of Pale Peony and Jinx basically talking their way, bantering their way through that combat. I didn't mention it at the time, but it kind of bugs me when you're having a ninja throwdown and you feel the need to kind of explain your actions. I mean, the sequential art of Gallant is so good, I don't think it needs Harmer to then explain on top of it.
No.
Like, we get what is happening in the combat. Are they concerned that we'd read the comic too quickly? I mean, that surely wasn't the case with the silent issue.
No.
Yeah, trust the silence more. I wish more authors would lean into that. I know Larry does, and he has on occasion, but every time he does get a little bit too wordy, you almost want to say to the guy, "We get you, Larry. We get you. You can take your foot off the gas, man."
That's it. I'm excited to see where this rescue operation and hostage put down force is going to go, etc. We'll see that next week. But the closing page here gives us the reveal of what Pale Peony and Jinx found, and when they reveal it, it is the head of a blue ninja. I don't think that was much of a surprise to me because... No?
Isn't that a battle android trooper head?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They even say Cobra's upgrading armies of bats to blue ninja levels. Now, you're right because... Well, I don't know. I guess even though it was mentioned there that they're upgrading to bats to blue ninja levels, I hadn't given the head a second glance, and when she unveiled it, it looked to me at first glance like, the blue ninja that just had the one cyclopean eye.
Yes.
I thought it was that, but now that you mention it on closer inspection, are we 100% saying that is a bat head?
It's a hybrid of the two. I think, that is the one most damning piece of evidence. I don't doubt that Jinx and Pale Peony found other links between this cyborg or sort of robot factory and Cobra. They must have, because the head alone isn't that. But the head is perhaps the most visible, visceral indication that this is Cobra tech that has now been enhanced by what they learned from the Blue Ninjas.
Right, so that now, on reflection, that makes it much more of a significant reveal to me, because at the time when she's dropped the bag and the head's rolled out, I thought, it's just the head of a blue ninja, which is what I would expect to find if they're fighting a cyborg in a Revanche facility. They probably would find a blue ninja. But
the fact that they also, in text it's revealed that Pale Peony has found, or was it Jinx, that both of them have discovered links that Cobra's created the orders for these robots. Right, it's been tracked back to Rancho Cobra.
Yes.
The upshot of it is that Cobra is working with Revanche.
Yes. I'd assumed that they were just effectively ordering fully robotic blue ninjas, but, it's an amalgamation of bats and blue ninjas.
Did you assume always that Cobra and Revanche would ally themselves?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, neither did I. This did come as a surprise back then when I first read this, and once again it's like, I'm interested to see how they turned enemies into friends that fast.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed both these issues. I think the only thing that didn't sit fully on the level with me was the whole mass exodus of the pit in reaction to the incidents they were watching on TV. It just felt a little bit over the top. Now, I'm not saying that isn't a valid reaction. If it's definitely one of your buddies who's in trouble, you're going to want to help out. But like you said, potentially the lack of professionalism.
Yeah, man. Well, it harks back to that knee-jerk reaction that they had when Stalker's team was interred back in the gulags of... Oh, man, I've lost the name. But do you remember, Quick Kick?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. Like, everyone wanted to rush in and save them, but they got the brakes put on them. So it just seems like they're a bunch of cowboys, man. Maybe G.I. Joe is so used to immediately reacting in these situations that it is unusual for the brakes to be put on. Maybe every successful G.I. Joe mission to date has been like a rapid response, and it is the exception to the rule when the jugglers say, no, you can't go in.
Yeah.
They're just used to jumping every time they need to jump,
Yeah. Barovia, I think it was.
Yeah. G.I. Joe is a well-trained, guard dog, basically. They they don't think before they act. They just sink their teeth in.
That's it. Not gonna yo-jo these, because I think this storyline obviously still has a few issues to go to play out. But
indeed,
I'll definitely be yo-joing it then, and I encourage you to do the same. But interested to see where this is going, definitely. And we'll be doing issues 195 and 196 on the next episode, so stay tuned for that.
Chief, I don't think we're going to do a toy talk. We are running pretty long on this episode, and I guess I just want you to guess what it would have been had we chatted about it.
Is it not relevant to then do this one next time, or not?
It would be completely irrelevant next time. It has an appearance in these two issues, or one of these two issues, and the only reason I was going to bring it up at all in a toy talk was because I doubted I could ever get another opportunity to talk about it. So if that gives you any hints...
You gave me a slight one as we were discussing the issues, I think, and you saying it makes me think it's definitely a vehicle.
Or the toy, the plastic person.
No, it's definitely a vehicle. And all do you know for sure that it doesn't appear in the next two issues?
I am 95% certain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you were going to go with the tiger rat.
Huh, okay. No.
Wrong.
But very good guess. I was going to go with the MCC.
What's the MCC?
The Mobile Command Center.
Right, okay.
Cheap plug. It is the most watched G.I. Joeberg review. And I apologize for the audio quality on that video, but because there haven't been too many reviews of the MCC online, and if anyone if anyone is missing their toy talk this week, I would encourage you to add to our view count. Check out the Mobile Command Center by G.I. Joeberg.
Yeah, nice. I'll do that. Well, if we haven't got time for toys, have we got time for colloquialisms? Commonwealth colloquialisms, aka over egg in the pudding?
Indeed we do, Chief.
Brilliant. We got a pudding. We got a pudding. We're gonna over egg that pudding. Ain't got no criticisms. We got some Commonwealth colloquialisms.
Sandwich time. Okay, mate.
Yes.
In Australia, if I was to refer to a dunny, what do you suppose I'd be talking about?
I think you would need either a number 1 or a number 2 because you're going to the toilet.
I need to drop a big Grogan in the dunny. I don't know what the origin of Grogan is, but I'm pretty sure you get the implication. Yeah, a dunny is the shithouse, and a Grogan is big old turd.
Yes.
Get us out of the toilet, please, Chief.
Well, I had one. I'm not 100% sure if it really is a Commonwealth colloquialism, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to use it, but I'm going to save it till next week because I'm going to use one that you gave me as we started talking in this episode, and that is bellend.
Yeah, I don't think anything more needs to be said. I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, bellend is, for those who don't know, the bellend is the end of a penis.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And I'm pretty sure it's quite clear as to why.
Yeah. Listen, you asked me to take us out of the toilet. I don't think I did. What about you? Are you keeping us in the toilet or not?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. Okay, so the sale of this item has actually been made illegal in South Africa during lockdown. The Commonwealth colloquialism I'm using, or the South African colloquialism I'm using to describe it is gwai.
Gwai. The sale has been made illegal.
Correct.
Now, I'm going to take a stab from a conversation you might have had on a previous episode of G.I. Joeberg. I'm going to say tobacco.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
A gwai specifically would be a cigarette.
Right, that's the only reason, because I think, was it Paul was saying that he was struggling, or they were having to buy them on the black market, so to speak.
Indeed. What a shit show, honestly. It has created a huge black market for cigarettes, and we believe that there is a certain Minister of Health who has her fingers in that particular industry. So she's making a nice, tidy lockdown profiteering.
Wow, interesting.
Wow, what scumbags, huh? Welcome to Africa, baby.
Good one. Good colloquialisms. Yeah, there'll be more colloquialisms next week. I will use the one that I was going to use this week. It may well be a fail, but we'll find out. Steve, as always, has to get 2. He goes double the homework. Well, you got more homework than me. You haven't given me any homework this week.
Oh, damn it.
No, yes, well, you have, kind of. I'll go and watch that Mobile Command Center review.
Thank you. There you go.
There you go. Good stuff. There is one more thing we do need to do before we leave the show, and that is We asked you a question. We asked you a question. Listeners responded with really good answers because we asked them a question.
Awesome.
The question was, in the world of G.I. Joe, what is your favourite hat? Now, I didn't know whether to phrase this as headgear, because I knew if I put headgear, we'd get a lot of helmets and kind of enclosed helmets. And I think originally I was really after hats, but I left it as hats just to see what the response would be. And we did get a lot of helmet responses, but
Indeed,
I'm going to give
a lot
it
of bell
pass
ends
this week. I'm not gonna eliminate those answers. I'm gonna accept them this week.
Very good. All right. Now, all of a sudden, the people who did list hats when they really wanted to talk about helmets are feeling a little bit butthurt. Oh, damn.
Again, yep. I was planning to, as always, do some homework and look at all the answers, collate them onto a spreadsheet so they're easily to hand, which I did not do. I got tied up with other stuff, like namely racing slot cars. But let's have a look at some of the responses.
Well, Rob's toy collection is definitely in diagnostic 80s clan. Should we say the Clan McLeod?
Yep.
Because
Nice.
he likes Snake Eyes version 4's like bright orange goggles.
Yeah.
Over the mask with the sort of the hockey like filter mask in the front.
Yep.
But he also likes Hydro Viper's helmet as well, which is a very monstrous creature from the Black Lagoon kind of. It's not particularly practical, but it must look hell of intimidating having these guys rise out of the water. Something that I wish had happened in G.I. Joe media, but has yet to.
What's your, before I don't want to divert too much, but what's your preference for headgear? Do you like kind of outlandish, stylish talking point, or do you like more grounded, reality-based headgear?
Depends on what era of Steve we're talking about, man. Because when I first started collecting G.I. Joe, a removable helmet was a huge selling point. The Eco Warrior guys were huge, Toxo Viper was big, Astro Viper, any guy that had a removable helmet, and I'll tell you why. Mass Crusaders working overtime, fighting crime. Yeah!
Yeah, nice, strong.
That's it. Yeah, man. I used to be a singer.
Why don't you write any of these jingles? You'd be good at them.
Maybe that's why I don't.
Oh, deep cut. Burn.
Lockdown Downer says Flint's beret, and that's a very good suggestion because what is the first thing Flint does when he makes a paradrop?
I don't know, probably takes it off, does he? Stashes it.
He takes it off in the issue. We see him take it off in the belly of the C-130, and the very first thing he does when his boots on the ground, he puts it back on. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, nice. We also had W Brown 6664 said Dusties and Wild Bills.
Yeehaw, baby.
Big fan of Wild Bill's cowboy hat. I like that. Dusties, practical, very practical, and, looks pretty cool. It's kind of like a Legionnaire style one, isn't it?
Wonderful, yeah. Extra points on Dusty for having soft goods integrated so well in the figure.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's a special thing. Dusty's helmet's fantastic.
What else we got here? Another beret, Cowboy Customs Falcon's green beret. Now, what's the difference mainly between the two, his and Flint's?
The action figure version, at least Falcon's, has less of a jaunty angle. Yeah. I mean, Flint's beret, it looks like it's really just creeping off his head. You shouldn't scrutinize it too closely because it does look slightly ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
It's about to come off, man.
Hillbilly Harper.
Lady J's hat.
That's it, yep.
Yeah, man.
You a fan of that?
I am a fan of the fact that the detail is so nicely fleshed out in artworks. Those are definitely jump wings. A U.S. Army parachutist's badge on her hat. So, which is... I mean, once again, she obviously didn't wear it on the cover of the issue because that thing would just be whipped off. But, in case you were wondering where her qualifications were, she wears the hat and you're like, oh yeah, respect. This chick could jump out of planes.
Yep. Brent Richard SSR says the Sarge. Fan of that?
What's it called? A smoky hat?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's definitely signature. I don't think any other G.I. Joe has that hat.
No.
So it's the Sarge.
Yeah, looks good on him. A couple of people, including friend of the show, Mate Mylar, and who else?
Darren Cobb, our resident Aussie. Thanks for the assistance on the colloquialisms, buddy.
Okay. Yorktown Joe, also Recondo,
Yeah, man.
which is I like that a lot. That's a good one.
The slouch hat is always going to be like a colonial kind of hat, and as a result, will forever be reminiscent of the Australian armed forces. So it's with no surprise that Recondo was recast as an Aussie SAS member in Battle Action Force. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Makes sense.
It's a good look.
G. Matthew N says maybe the one from 88 with Spearhead and Max. In the Joe verse, maybe Shockwaves.
My man. Yes.
Yeah, there you
go. Yes.
Good. Another vote. Joe Fan 87 says Wild Bill. So a couple of votes for Wild Bill. And Phil, my man, Phil from Canada. Low Lights. He's put Toque. What does that mean? Toque.
Maybe where Phil comes from, that's a knitted beanie, a toque.
Okay.
Wow. That's Philip Roth's colloquialism right there.
That's it. There you go.
Thanks for weighing in, pal. Look, man, I am so grateful Gary V weighed in with the driver of the MCC. We were going to crack jokes about this in Toy Talk. We've missed our opportunity. But he wears it's a hat, a black hat with the word dog written on it. The theory is that they couldn't get the rights to the name branding of cat, as in caterpillar, as in, earth-moving machines. So they went with dog instead. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And Bjorn from Norway, he said he remembers his dad laughing when he saw that. Nice.
Right, yeah. I know Diagnostic 80, Chris from Full Force is a big fan, and he also mentioned Steamroller's dog hat and Skymate's Pink Beauty with a roo on it. I'm just zooming in there. Yeah, that's a full-on kangaroo across that pink hat. Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know he was Australian. I mean, yeah, you're not even going to go deep cut with a slouch hat. You're just going to put a damn kangaroo on a pink trucker cap. Yeah. Okay.
The only real-world example we had was G.I. Joe on the Brain, who actually goes with a real-world hat, the Real American Hero G.I. Joe cap.
Interesting choice in font, but hey, man, cool cap. I need more G.I. Joe apparel, actually.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Donovan.Morgan also agrees with a lot of others when he says Recondo. Doug says the Cobra sigil works better on the blue hat. Oh, he's talking about the images I posted of the actual real-world caps.
Maybe it should be Talking Joe memorabilia or merchandise. We put out these hat designs.
Yeah.
Doug would sign up for a Cobra sigil.
Did we get any others on the Facebook? Let's have a look.
I will say this much about Recondo. Friend of mine, Paul from Plastic Battles, he loves Recondo as well, for the simple reason that with a non-removable helmet, you don't have to gimp the dimensions of the hat. Anytime you have removable helmets or hats on the classic Joes, something has to be compromised, where it's either the hat being slightly oversized or the head be slightly undersized. But with Rekondo's being a glued hat that is not intended to be removed, it's just perfection. It looks so good. Why would you change it?
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to do a Dio story with a hatless Recondo. But fortunately, customs have come to fill that void. You can get replacement heads.
Over on the Facebook, this was more of the Facebook was more of the helmet posse over here.
Oh dear.
We had Mark, who has a soft spot for the Hiss Driver V1 helmet.
Nice. Yeah. It's
pretty
so
cool.
unusual and never repeated. Whatever happened to the Hiss tank driver core?
Yeah, right.
One and done, man.
Michael likes the Viper helmet. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And Bart likes Wild Weasel, which I'm a big fan of, or Lamprey.
Yes. Wow. Someone was posting how amazingly similar the Falcon 9 astronauts' outfits look to the Lamprey.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, there's definitely something there. So, in addition to piloting very fast speedboats, Lampreys can apparently go to space. Who knew?
Believe it. Fact. Yeah. There'll be more questions next week. Thanks for the response to everyone, as always. Really good to get the feedback and just, peek inside what people like. And pretty much, as always, apart from the question, Boba Fett being everyone's favourite bounty hunter, every time we've asked a question, we've had a really good varied responses, which is, really nice to know that people dig different things from different subjects. So keep it going. More questions next week. That is it, I'm afraid. We are out of time. We've been the out of timers. We're out of time now. We are out of time. We'll be back next.
We're talking Joe, and we're all out of Joe.
yeah. We're talking Joe, and we're all out of Joes. All right, we'll use that. I like it. But you can find us in all the usual places. It's talking_Joe on Twitter. It's Talking Joe Comics on Instagram. It's Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast on Facebook. Get involved. Have some conversations with fellow Joe fans. Where can the good people find you, sir?
My wife is about to bash down the door, and I'll tell you why. We have reached the final boss on Bare Knuckle 3 and paused it, so she has not had the access to the laptop in this whole episode. She's chapping at the bit, mate. So desperate. In terms of the socials, just find G.I. Joeberg wherever you are social, and you will find us. And find me and call me out and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and you should be the next host, because I'm sorry, Mark, I don't know the new Sculpt era, man. I don't know it. Mark said and called me out on Facebook.
He did. I saw that. Yeah.
I encourage anyone to do that, because I learned something new. I did not know that version of the IG existed, and now you know.
Education, that's what it's all about, man. We're educating each other in the world of G.I. Joe. That's it. I love it. You can find me on Chiefy Two Shoes, posting up art pics. I've got some G.I. Joe ones based art coming up that I've collected over the years, so I'm just running through a few Judge Dredd images at the moment, but probably coming next week will be the start of a few G.I. Joe based ones, so check those out, please. Actually, when I get the G.I. Joe ones, I'll post them on the Talking Joe site as well. For those that don't follow me on the personal account. And also you can obviously find me on The Outer Timers, the other podcast I do, and my other new podcast, The Sports Saloon. So plenty going on in the world of Chief. I've got slot car racing to do. I've got Star Wars figures to paint. I've got I've got the family as well. Forgot about them. So plenty going on.
Chief, are we still here?
Yeah, we've been the Talking Joes. Yeah,
and we are all out of Joe, except for one more, maybe. Yo,
Joe!
Belland.